When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
Ah, Smart Water, now in a sleek can.
This feels cool, literally.
Perfect for social gatherings and on the go.
Should I start wearing turtlenecks?
One sip at a time, friend. Smart Water cans, for those with a taste for taste. Get yours today.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
I decided to check outside, and honestly, I felt sick when I saw what was out there.
What's worse is the sinking feeling I've had ever since, that it's been around a lot longer than I realized.
Well, at some point, the woman cornered me, got so close to my face that it felt almost like sexual harassment.
From killer podcasts, true tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events, this is Disturbed. Hello and welcome back to the show. This week, we are bringing you 5 unsettling accounts that blur the lines between reality and nightmare. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. We kick things off with a story that takes place in a quiet apartment complex. A woman's routine day gets turned upside down when the maintenance man shows up and won't leave. From Reddit user Glum Passenger 488, narrated by Danny Boyle.
I moved to a new apartment a few months ago and live alone. I've been continuously creeped out by the maintenance guy. I can't tell if he's just nice and nosy, or possibly has bad intentions. On my move-in day, he already knew me by name and was waiting by his truck to greet me. I'm 27, and he's probably in his 40s or 50s. I think he mentioned that he has a daughter. In the first few weeks when I would work out in the gym, he would constantly walk by, and I'd catch him looking at me. The first time I had a maintenance request, he started texting me from his personal phone about it. He kept asking if I would be home. I wasn't, I was at work. And according to the text, he came and left the unit multiple times. And after he left, he texted me again, this time about a magnet on my fridge from North Carolina. He wanted to know why I had it and started chatting about his personal life, how he used to live there. This was in the evening, over text, after the maintenance request was done. I tried to be short and sweet in my replies. I didn't want to have a personal conversation with this man, but I didn't want to be rude either. Also, considering I have about 15 magnets from different places on my fridge, I thought it was strange that he signaled that one out. Like he was standing there reading all of them. And he started texting me every time I got a package to let me know it had been delivered. The next time I submitted a maintenance request, he brought a package into my apartment for me. The package room is all the way across the complex. Like, that may have been a nice gesture, but it still felt a little strange to me. After that, I sent him an email. I asked that he please communicate with me over email instead of text, for organizational reasons. I told him I text delete frequently. That's not a lie, but the truth of it is, I was uncomfortable. He agreed to this. Last night, I submitted a new request, something about my HVAC. He sent a message in the online portal saying he'd be by in the afternoon. I was at work again. When I checked the system, I didn't see any updates posted about what he found or fixed. Then, when I got home, I saw a note on my kitchen counter. It was handwritten, and it said he was not ignoring me, but has been advised by the office to not have direct written communication with the occupants. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really do. But I expected the note to be an update about the maintenance request. Instead, I'm stuck wondering, why would the office advise him not to talk to residents? Did someone else complain about the texting? Was I not the only one? And the fact that he knows he's not supposed to communicate with me and still chose to leave a note anyway? That doesn't sit right with me. Not at all.
Our next story is from r/humanoid encounters, with narration by Kim Andrews. I'm being stalked by something that looks like me.
Okay, this one's a bit of a doozy, and I apologize in advance if any of it comes out jumbled. I'm pretty paranoid right now and not exactly thinking straight. I live in Devon, here in the UK, just me and my dog. And behind my house, there's this massive stretch of woods that seems to go on forever. It's quiet, it's peaceful even. But lately, something's changed. It started early last month, or at least that's when I began to actually see it. This thing, whatever it is, looks and sounds exactly like me. Not kind of similar, not vaguely familiar. I'm talking identical. And as terrifying as that is, what's worse is the sinking feeling I've had ever since. That it's been around a lot longer than I realized. Let me back up. About 4 years ago, I had my parents, gran, and a few cousins over for a little get-together, just a regular afternoon. At one point, my mum stepped out back to have a cigarette. Not even 60 seconds later, she comes rushing back into the house, flustered and visibly shaken, asking me why I was out in the woods, staring at her. Except I wasn't. I was inside, sitting on the couch with my dad and gran. We all just kind of shrugged it off. My mum laughed, called herself daft, said maybe she was seeing things, and I stupidly let it go too. Then last year, I was in the lounge, minding my business, when my dog suddenly bolted into the conservatory, barking like mad. Not unusual really, we've got plenty of rabbits and wildlife around. But then I heard something that made my blood run cold. It was my voice, coming from the conservatory, clear as day. I ran to the door, heart racing, but when I looked outside, nothing. No one. Not a trace. Last month, while I was in the kitchen cleaning up, I glanced out the window toward the woods, and I saw it. Me. Just standing there in the trees, completely still. It was a perfect mirror image of myself. Didn't blink, didn't move, just stared. It looked like a statue, but I could feel it watching me. I froze on the spot, and for a second, I couldn't even breathe. Then instinct kicked in, and I leapt over to the conservatory door to get a better look, or maybe confront it. I don't even know what I was thinking. But it was gone. Just like that, in the time it took me to cross the room, it had vanished. And then came last Saturday. I was upstairs working on an assignment when I heard it again. My voice, right outside the window, saying plain as day, "Let me in." My dog completely lost it, barking, growling, pacing in circles, and then I heard the scratching, clawing at the windows, at the door. Whatever it was, it wanted inside. I called the police and packed a bag. I'm at my parents' house now trying to make sense of all this. I don't know what this thing is or what it wants. I don't even know if anyone's going to believe me. But I know what I've seen. I've heard it with my own ears. And I don't think it's finished with me. If anyone has any idea what this could be, anything at all, I'm all ears. Because the thought of seeing it again, I don't even want to imagine what'll happen next.
You're listening to Disturbed. We'll be right back. Imagine it. A hot summer night. You're out walking in the woods, and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot them. A famous actor who is also a serial killer. They get down on all fours and break into a sprint. Are they gaining on you? Absolutely not. Lucky for you, you're wearing Quince's lightweight and fashionable joggers, and getting away from a real-life cannibal celebrity is a breeze. I rely on my black flow-knit performance joggers from Quince on the daily, playing in the yard, lounging around the house, surviving the horrors of the Ohio wilderness. These babies can do it all, and they do it in style. I'm wearing Quince this summer, and so should you. Stick to the staples that last with elevated essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/disturbed for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disturbed.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Now imagine it's late. You're home, alone. Someone tries your door, and thank God for the deadbolt. Our next story is from Reddit user Unicorns and Rainbows, and is narrated by Hannah Robertson.
This happened about a year ago, maybe a little more. But I just came across something similar, and it reminded me how much this still gives me the chills. At the time, I was living with my husband and our 3 kids, who were around 9, 7, and 2 years old. We live in a fairly rural part of the UK, just outside a small village. Every night, without fail, I check that the front door is locked. Sometimes I even put the chain across just to be extra safe. That night, I was woken up abruptly by a harsh, aggressive banging on the front door. My first thought was that it might have been someone drunk, confused about where they were, maybe thinking they were at their own house. But then they started trying the door handle. My husband was closer to the front door, so I stood halfway down the stairs with my phone in my hand just in case I needed to call someone. He shouted through the door, telling the man that there were kids inside sleeping and that he needed to go away immediately. But the man didn't stop. He started rambling, slightly slurring his words. It wasn't heavy, extreme slurring, but his voice was definitely off. He sounded like he was either under the influence of something or not mentally well. He kept asking for a specific woman by name, someone we didn't know. My husband told him repeatedly that no one by that name lived here and that he needed to leave, but the man kept insisting we were hiding her. Said he was coming in. While this was going on, there were a lot of bizarre noises coming from the other side of the door. Heavy thumping, scratching, and another sound I couldn't even place. It was just wrong. Eventually, my husband told him I had already called the police. After a few more frantic bangs, everything suddenly went quiet. We assumed he left because we didn't hear another sound. Not from him. Not from anywhere. No commotion with the neighbours either. I stayed up for a few hours just in case he came back. I had a tennis racket in hand, ready to use it if I had to. Thankfully, it didn't come to that. In the morning, since it was the weekend, I decided to check outside. And honestly, I felt sick when I saw what was out there. There was a massive dent in the door, something that surely couldn't have been made by a fist alone. And all over the door, and on the panels next to it, were fingernail marks and smears of blood. Not buckets of it, but enough that it had to be cleaned up. I took pictures first. Lying between the door and the bins was a smashed ashtray, also covered in blood and shattered into pieces. One of the outdoor potted plants had been tipped over too, so there was soil and broken pottery all over the floor. My best guess is that he tried to use the ashtray to smash the door and cut himself in the process, but I can't be sure. That part's just speculation. What rattled me most was how clearly aggressive this man was and how completely random it felt. We had no reason to be targeted. When we told our neighbours, they were absolutely horrified. One of them said they did hear something, but assumed it was a drunk causing trouble. When we mentioned the name the man kept repeating, one of the neighbours said, "Oh God, that's the woman who used to live here," referring to someone a few doors down who had a rough past. Apparently, she had been into drugs and associated with some shady people. The neighbour figured this man might have been one of her old drug companions, showing up thinking she still lived here. Even now, there have been a few incidents at her house where the police have been called, though I'm not sure exactly what for. After that night, we installed a video doorbell and a home security system. There's a panic button now that goes straight to emergency services if we don't respond in time. Nothing happened that night, thank God. But it so easily could have, and that's the part that sticks with me. So seriously, to the man at the door, she doesn't live here, and you're absolutely unhinged. Let's never meet.
Our next story is from Jhas Williams, the weird woman who tried to rob or kidnap me.
This happened to me a year ago outside of a famous department store in Mexico while I was waiting for the bus. That day, I went to buy a birthday cake for my best friend, among other things, so I had a lot of things to carry. I usually walk home. I mean, it's not that far. But since I had so much to carry, I decided to wait for the bus. It was around 4 p.m., and since I was in a pretty central part of the city, there were a lot of people walking around and waiting for the bus too. That's why I found what happened so strange. I was leaning against a window of the department store, just trying to balance the bags and keep the cake from slipping. That's when a woman approached me and started talking to me. I mean, I don't know what it is about my face. People always seem just so comfortable talking to me and approaching me. And that's even though I'm pretty introverted, so it didn't really seem that weird at first. But one of the first things she said was a warning, something like, "Be very careful with your things. There are very bad people. Someone could steal from you." At first, I took it as a kind gesture, and I really didn't think much of it. But then she started asking questions like where I lived, what bus I took, what my parents' names were, what they did for a living, and where I was going. The questions just felt probing. It gave me a really bad feeling, so I lied to all of them, just like my mom always told me to do with strangers. That's when I noticed how strange her behavior really was. Her face looked delirious, eyes wide, almost staring up at the sky as she spoke in this bizarre, disconnected way. Her appearance was really disheveled, something I hadn't noticed at first. I honestly started to think that she had schizophrenia or something similar. But then, she started inching closer. Way too close. Repeating the same warning from earlier over and over and over again, just invading my personal space. I started to feel scared. I tried to shift away from her. Another woman nearby noticed, and she looked just as surprised as I felt. Well, at some point, the woman cornered me, got so close to my face that it felt almost like sexual harassment. I forgot to mention, when I told her what bus I was taking, she suddenly said she would take the same one, even though she had just told me she was going somewhere completely different. She made up some story about visiting her brother. That's why she'd be taking the same bus as me. I said maybe I would walk instead since the bus was taking so long, but she would not let me leave. And when I insisted, she told me she'd walk with me because she was going to the same place. How could she possibly be going to the same place? I mean, it made no sense. At this point, already nervous and scared, I just told her I was going to walk and said goodbye, pretending to be polite. I turned and I started walking, but then she followed me close behind for like a whole block. When I turned the corner, I ran. I didn't care about the cake. I just ran until I lost her. In full transparency, I've had to leave out a few observations to keep this short, but I got the impression that if she wasn't planning to rob me, she was waiting for us to be alone somewhere to do something worse. You see, sometimes in Mexico, these are just kidnapping tactics, and there may be more people involved. Luckily, it was still daylight and there were plenty of people around, but I still don't know what would have happened if I'd gotten on that bus. I mean, would she have followed me? How far? For what reason? So, to the woman outside the department store, let's not meet again.
We off?
30 seconds of carefree bliss.
Oof, like wind in your hair carefree.
Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree.
Yes!
Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree.
He's on a roll now.
Spit toothpaste on the faucet.
You got it. You got it.
Peanut butter on the light switch.
Oh, spritz, spritz.
Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Welcome back to the podcast. Our final story is narrated by the talented Gregory James.
Bear with me. This is a lot to take in, but it's worth getting through so you understand what's been going on. I'm going to tell you the most noteworthy moments we've experienced. I'm sure there are others I've forgotten or still can't explain, but so many things have happened that it's hard to keep track. Everything started about 4 to 5 months ago. I live in an apartment with my wife, our son, and our cat. The first strange event was this. I was sitting at my desk in our room playing video games. Our closet, which has 2 doors, is directly to my left. My chair only blocks my side of the closet, so my wife still has access to hers even when I'm at my desk. She came into the room, grabbed something from the closet, and closed the door. Here's where our stories diverge. From my point of view, she comes into the room, grabs something, then lies down on the bed. I get up, and from my peripheral vision, I see her there. I sit at the foot of the bed with my back to her, picking up clothes from the floor to get a load of laundry started. I ask her if the clothes near her desk need washing, and she replies, "Everything on my desk is clean." I say, "Okay," finish gathering everything, then turn around to talk to her. But no one is on the bed. Confused, I go to the living room and ask her if she was just in the bedroom. She says no. She's been feeding the cat in the kitchen the whole time. She never laid down. I hadn't asked her about the laundry. From her perspective, she came into the room, grabbed something from the closet, then left to go to the kitchen and feed the cat. As she was leaving the kitchen, I walked in from the living room looking confused and scared, asking if she'd just been in the bedroom with me. So who did I see lying on the bed? Who did I speak to? Another time, we were lying in bed facing each other. My back was to the room's entrance, hers wasn't. Suddenly, she panicked and told me to turn around. I saw nothing, but she swore she saw a silhouette peek around the doorway. As she noticed it, it slowly pulled back and disappeared. She was terrified and couldn't sleep. Neither could I. That same week, she called me crying and scared because she saw another silhouette, this time in the kitchen. One night, we were in our room. It was late. The kiddo was asleep. The cat was in the room with us. I was at my desk, and my wife was lying in bed. Suddenly, we heard a loud thud against the door. I went to check, and our son's Neato ice cube toy was sitting directly in front of it. Now, this toy is heavy. It doesn't bounce, and we have carpet. It had been sitting on our dresser. The dresser is far enough away that even if it fell, it wouldn't have reached the door. Definitely not with that much force. We tested it, slid it slowly off the dresser, and it just dropped a few inches away. For it to hit the door like that, it had to have been thrown. I also have a pair of headphones I always keep in their box when not in use. I had taken a photo of them to post online for sale, so I knew they were in there. While I was at work, I asked my wife to send another photo, and she told me the box was empty. I was shocked. I never leave those out. When I got home, we tore the apartment apart. No headphones. Days later, she opened our closet and found them hanging on a coat hanger, draped around one of my jackets, a jacket I hadn't worn in ages. We'd both been in that closet multiple times since the headphones went missing. We also store our iron on the top shelf of the closet. It's always there. We rarely use it. One day, I went into our son's closet to grab something. He's 7 and too short to reach the shelves in either closet. That's when I saw the iron. It was on the floor. Later that week, we were asleep when a loud, metallic noise woke us up. It came from my desk. I looked and saw a marble wedged between the desk leg and the wall. It hadn't been there before. We guessed maybe the marble had rolled off and hit the desk leg. But still, it was too loud. I went to the bathroom. When I came back, the marble was now on my pillow. Goosebumps. My wife had fallen back asleep, but I woke her up to ask her if she'd moved it. She swore she hadn't. I threw the marble out the window. A night or two later, I was at my desk again. I moved some things around. Everything was where it should be. Later that night, my wife sat in my chair and immediately noticed a marble on the desk. Our son hasn't been allowed to play with marbles in a long time. He once tried to put one in his mouth. We threw them all out. Lately, I've been using the bathroom with the door open. Why? Because multiple times I've heard knocking on the door, even when I'm home alone. I figured if the door is open, nothing can knock. This time, I didn't have my phone. It was charging. I know my wife was in our kids' room, had been there the whole time. I'm sitting on the toilet when I see her walk past the bathroom from the living room into our son's room. I immediately ask if she just walked in. She says no. She's been in there since I went to the bathroom. She hadn't moved. We confirmed it. She never left the room. Another time, I walked over to my desk and found a piece of paper towel with black stains on it. Almost like ink, but no smell. I asked my wife about it. She said she didn't do it. And it was weird because she wouldn't leave trash on my desk like that. Especially now, with everything going on, we wouldn't prank each other. I burned it in the kitchen sink. Fire as a cleanser, right? When I returned to the desk, I noticed 2 black drips, sticky, viscous on the surface. I looked up and found more black liquid, freshly stained at the top edge of the desk. It dried down the screen. I wiped it. Same black residue. Same as the paper towel. The same thing happened again a day or two later, this time on the TV. My wife was at work. I'd been in the living room most of the day with our son. I went to pick her up. We made a grocery list and went shopping. After putting everything away and getting dinner started, I went to turn the TV on and saw 2 more black drips. Same texture, no smell. Today, before heading to work, I grabbed my wallet. It had been sitting on a stack of papers. When I picked it up, I noticed black stains on the papers underneath. The wallet was stained too, and the liquid was still fresh. I emptied it and threw the whole thing away. I don't know what all this means or where it's coming from. It can't just be coincidence. There's too much crazy shit going on. I don't know what comes next, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Noah Fouts. Our audio engineers are Nathan Corson and Will Pritz. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there. Hello, listeners. We're committed to making scary good podcasts for you to enjoy. With the lineup expanding to twice a week and new shows and formats coming your way, we want to make sure we're giving you exactly the horror you're listening for. We created a survey to gather feedback about the show and to learn more about you as a listener, to make the best Disturbed that we can. Interested? Go to theshowsurvey.com/disturbed to take the quick, anonymous survey and be entered into a drawing for a $100 Amazon gift card. Again, that's theshowsurvey.com/disturbed. Every week, we'll select a different winner for participating. And hey, thanks.